we have 3 weeks to go for an election, more or less. I think that the peace of Parliament is entirely in the hands of Mr. Speaker. If you follow the chronology of events, Mr. Speaker could have done better, considering the fact that even before initiating this action, I had gone to him to discuss the fact that Honorable Haruna Idrisu had raised the matter on a political platform and the fact that we should come together and deal with the matter. He assured me that he would guide the process. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I eventually had to file the writ upon seeing the petition of Mr. Idrisu to be argued on the House floor. He again went to Mr. Speaker. That Mr. Speaker, now that you have knowledge of this petition by Honorable Haruna Idrisu, does that mean that you are going to take a step? He said no. The application by Haruna Idrisu would have to be admitted by him first, and that he has not admitted any motion. So I should be rest assured. Then the next stage of serving the writ on the legal directorate. There again, he gave me assurance that because of a certain circular, the directorate could not receive the process until the next Monday. Then I became alarmed when we got onto the House floor. And this time around, the petition from Haruna Idrisu was not a matter in issue, but rather Honorable Atuforsen was going to invoke Order 93 to make a statement. We said, okay, fair enough, let's see what will happen. I tried to engage my colleagues on the other side. But you see, they were hell-bent on the politics they wanted to do that day. And from all the actions, it was clear that Mr. Speaker was in the know of whatever they were going to do. So he just called Dr. Atuforsen, and he came out with this thing. We argued it, and unfortunately, Mr. Speaker announced that he was going to give a ruling on Thursday, when he had assured me that he wasn't going to give a ruling, but because of the court process and all that, he was going to wait so that we all abide by the reasoning of the court. Because according to him, the matter was a constitutional matter. So for me, it was a big surprise that Mr. Speaker would go out of his way to make a ruling, which immediately made the NDC proclaim themselves to be majority, although he himself continued to address me as a majority leader. Fast forward, we came to court, the court intervened, and now the new argument of Mr. Speaker was that he didn't give a ruling. He only gave an opinion. He expressed a view on the matter. He met us on Tuesday, the 22nd of October, at a pre-sitting meeting. And at the pre-sitting meeting, I told Mr. Speaker that, well, you are saying you have received the court process and that you have not declared the NDC the majority. Now that they are sitting on our seat, what are you going to do, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker told me that that is a responsibility of the clerk. He later repeated the same thing to the Council of State and the Peace Council. The clerk to Parliament made sure that he had arranged our seat, the majority caucus, our seat, at where we are supposed to sit, the right of Mr. Speaker. Placed our name tags there. The NDC came to remove them. Mr. Speaker was aware of this. He watched and continued with the proceedings. And for anybody to suggest that the majority was not reaching out, was not building consensus, that person was really getting it wrong. Because for a whole week, I know of prominent chiefs, very prominent and respected chiefs, who engaged my side and engaged Mr. Speaker and transmitted some communication to me. I won't mention their names. They transmitted some communications to me that Mr. Speaker was in fact even going to convene Parliament without our recall application, and that I should reach out to him. I went to his residence 2 occasions. They said he was not available. Later, I communicated to that prominent chief. The prominent chief reached out to him. He picked his call, but he didn't pick my call. And then told me that, oh, Mr. Speaker says he's busy with some visiting speakers of African Parliament. So we should make it Monday morning, 10 o'clock. Monday, I spent my whole day in Parliament. Mr. Speaker was not available. Tuesday, same. Later in the afternoon, I was told that Mr. Speaker was challenging the okayedness of the court. So he has instructed his lawyers to file a motion to set it aside. So we should go to court. When we return from court, we'll see what to be done. Put that aside. The Council of State reached out to me again that they have spoken to Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker concedes that he has not made a ruling and that the NDC will move to their own seat. He gave them the assurance. Council of State communicated that to us. We said, okay, if in all of these Mr. Speaker decides to resign, what should I do? I should go and sit on the minority seat? Spiritually, it's not even good. You have 3 weeks to election. I should go and sit on minority. Is that my seat? I won't dare sit there. I will never do it. I will never do it. That's not my rightful place. I should go to minority. Spiritually, make myself a minority person. No. And bind my colleagues. We won't do that. No MPP person will do that. In any event, we were privy to certain things that we cannot make public. That if our colleagues had entered the chamber to attempt to enforce their rights, perhaps we wouldn't be here. So in fact, we are decent-minded people. We respect the courts. We respect the law. Our doors are open to Mr. Speaker's call. I repeat, our doors are open to Mr. Speaker's call. Political decisions are for common sense approach. We believe in a common sense approach in solving this. And the common sense approach is for Mr. Speaker to direct the NDC side to go back to their seats. In fact, on Friday, a former majority leader who had engaged Mr. Speaker had told me that Mr. Speaker wanted to have a meeting with me. I went to his secretariat. Mr. Speaker saw me. And then he said, oh, he wants to meet the 2 leaders. I said, okay. I reached out to my colleague, Dr. Atufosi, that Mr. Speaker wanted to meet the 2 of us. Before I could say Jack, Mr. Speaker had moved his car and left. He had left. Atu also confirmed that Mr. Speaker said he wanted to meet us. Our phones are on. Mr. Speaker has several ways of reaching out to me, either directly by his call or his aides. My phone is on. I have not received any call. I am a centrist politician. I'm a moderate politician. I'm not an extremist. I believe in consensus building. Those who know me in Parliament know how I do my politics. I don't just jump the gun. I don't just get up to say things. MPP in Parliament is bleeding. We have gone through too much hell in the hands of Mr. Speaker. We just don't talk about it. We've managed the situation for far too long. And at this point, we would call on him, Mr. Speaker, that let us end the 8th Parliament on a very happy and a very good note. Let's work together.